Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Jake the Fate, and in this video, I'm going to be doing a review and demo of another budget-friendly guitar. In this box, I have an awesome guitar that I personally love. I bought this guitar used. In this box, I don't have an Ibanez acoustic guitar. I actually have, let me show you guys. Oh yeah. Here I have a Jackson JS32 Dinky series, or DKA, with the floating tremolo system, a Floyd Rose. So I'm gonna be doing a review and demo of this guitar, and personally, I absolutely love these guitars, man. I personally don't own many of these. I used to own so many of these, man, just because they were so cheap and the neck profile. Fell in love with Jacksons because of these guitars. I used to have the JS, I forgot the series they were, but I did make a how to install EMGs on a Jackson JS32. I think it was a 32, but it was like a V. And you know, but I think that one went for like 500, and I think this one brand new is I think like $399 if I'm not mistaken. But it's still affordable compared to like any other guitar. These kind of guitars I absolutely love because they're entry level, but they're also like, you can gig around with these, man. But I had a couple of these. I actually do have one. I'm gonna show you guys right now real quick. Yeah, so here's the first one that I ever bought. You know, this was the first Jackson I bought, and I still have it. I had so many, but yeah, this is one of the JS32 series, and I still have it. And I've been trying to get around to it. You know, this is like the first paint job I ever did, like some stripes. But you know, it's still in the works. I got the Salvadorian flag there because I'm Salvadorian. So yeah, but I'm not talking about this one, obviously. Jesus. And what I'm gonna do is basically take it to the workbench. I'm gonna show you guys spec by spec what's in this, what's it made out of, what's under the hood, and everything. So when you guys go to buy one of these, you guys know what to expect. So let's go to the workbench. This body itself, they call it the natural oil, like that's the name that they call it, natural oil wood. It's a solid body. The wood itself, it's called NATO wood. They say it's like from the Mora tree. I don't know where that's located in, but I mean it's pretty nice. It just looks a little dry right there, like on the beveled edges. Looks a little bit dry. You know, it's got a real nice natural look to it. Personally, this right here is perfect for like, you know, any paint jobs you guys want to do, like a starter thing for like a good paint job. If you guys want to like modify it that way, you know, this is already giving me some ideas. Now the neck on this thing, I'm 100% sure everybody can talk good about these necks, because these necks, you know, if you're a shredder guy, you know, these necks are awesome. So the neck on this thing, it's got a maple neck with an amaranth fretboard. You know, it's not ebony or it's not like rosewood or anything like that. So I'm pretty sure, you know, this is what they have available. I think this guitar's from China. So is it made in China, crafted in China? So I'm pretty sure like this kind of wood is like, you know, available for them. You know, you got pretty cool exotic woods here. You got 24 jumbo frets, man, and like that's what makes this guitar awesome. You know, you got 24 jumbo frets, and these frets, you know, I personally love jumbo frets. So if you're into jumbo frets, this thing is good for you. It's got white binding around the entire fretboard here. It doesn't go around the neck. I think that's just like paint. Yeah, it looks like something. Yeah, this thing looks like it's painted on. But the headstock, you know, it's a pretty nice looking headstock right there. You know, you got the Jackson logo in white. It's like a matte finish, like a satin finish. It's not glossy or anything. Now the scale length of this guitar is a 25.5-inch scale length. Fretboard radius is 12 inches. A 42mm nut width over here. So, you know, you got pretty good specs on it already. You know, personally, me, these kind of specs is what got me into more like shredder guitars. Yeah, so the electronics, they're pretty basic. You know, you got a 3-way selector switch, 1 volume, 1 master tone, and yeah, but this thing over here, once you see it, you won't unsee it, right? Like the two little eyes, and he's like sticking his little tongue out. You got like these two like stock humbuckers, and you know these humbuckers are okay. You know, I've messed around with so many of these. I remember when I first started like trying to wind my own pickups, I had a drawer filled with these because I would just rip them out and put like some Seymour Duncans or EMGs or whatever it is. But I had a bunch of these, and I used to just like rewind them. You know, that's how I started getting into like pickup winding, because I just had a bunch of these, and I decided to rewind them, and you know, that's how I started getting into like winding my own pickups. So I'm gonna take off the strings, and I'm gonna show you guys what's under here, what's under the hood there, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about this Floyd Rose system right here. There are some things on these kind of guitars that I would say to look out for and maybe swap or upgrade or modify or whatever you want to call it. And the number one thing I would say, not as soon as you get it, but you know, over time, I would say to maybe swap out the bridge system on this thing, because this Jackson by Floyd Rose, this thing over time, you know, and a lot of people can say the same thing, they're gonna strip. You know, I've experienced that, and I've had to like either buy new parts or just buy whole new trem systems, because over time when you start turning these things, the saddles themselves, they'll strip. It's the only downfall about these kind of trem systems, that they're gonna wear out over time. So that's one thing that I would say to be cautious about, is that this is gonna give you some problems down the road. You might want to you know, look out for that. But the number one thing that is gonna go, so the locking nut up here, I feel like this is gonna be the first thing that's gonna go from past experience. So if you guys are gonna buy the guitar first, and then you know, you guys don't want to go through that headache, and you guys rather buy parts, you know, before you get them, you know, look for a WR3. I think, you know, Floyd Rose obviously makes them. I bought one of these from All Parts, and you know, it's lasted me for a while, a couple years actually. See that right there? That's what happens over time. It kind of already like imprints like the string onto it, and it does the same thing to the little block right here. You know, you take them off, and you kind of forget which one's which, and you go to put it, and you put the B and the E over here, and you grab this block and you put it here. It's gonna slip right out, because it already had that groove of the thicker strings down here, and you're gonna have tuning problems all the time. So I would say, like, you know, don't, you know, mess with this right here. That's something that I would say to upgrade. You know, maybe, I don't know, 6 months to a year after you have this guitar, because you're gonna start getting some tuning issues. Also, when you start locking this down, you're gonna see that the blocks itself, they don't sit flush to this locking nut over here. You're gonna see that like it kind of like turns. So what I usually do is just like, I'll put like a little wedge or like a little tiny screwdriver to hold it so it doesn't move. So once you lock it down, it's already in there. The reason why it does that is because of the string tension. It's going from here to here, and there's nothing that's like holding it down. Like most guitars with floating systems, they'll have like a string tree coming across over here, and it'll hold it in place so it doesn't move anywhere. I guess you could buy like a little string tree and put it here, but if you're new to this and you don't know anything, it's literally gonna screw with you. So I would say the easiest thing is like try to like hold it in place with like a little screwdriver or something in there, and start turning it so this whole thing doesn't turn. You have the guitar in tune, you go to tighten it, and then everything's out of tune. You know, and that's already I know a lot of people say that they hate Floyd Roses because of that, but if you know how to like work around it, and you know how to like manipulate it, it's literally gonna be nothing. You know, you're just gonna be like, okay, I know how to work with it, boom. I do have a video on floating trem systems, but they are a lot of fun once you get the hang of it. So these pickups here, you know, again, these are nothing fancy. What does that say? Beat? Belt? I don't know. Yeah, but these pickups here, you know, they're nothing fancy. You got one that says neck, N for neck. And you got one that says B for bridge. And they kind of gave like a little half-ass conductive paint job in there, but at least they tried. So that's that. Yeah, these are like their Jackson high output pickups is what they call them. So you know what, let's give it a little reading to see what they read. All right, so in the neck position you have 8.56 k ohms. On the bridge you have 15.38. So that's a hot bridge. You know, these are made out of ceramic. I think they're also wax potted, I don't remember, but they are really good. Having a 15.37 on a bridge pickup, man, that's way more than enough. Way more than enough for you to shred and, you know, do some good chugs. So now let's just see what's behind the hood back here. So this is what you have going on back here. Again, a half-ass, like, conductive paint job back here. You got your little circuit board 3-way selector switch there. Got like no branded dime-sized potentiometers there. And when I was looking at the front, this gave me the impression that somebody swapped it out because there's like some solder burnt marks there. And there's some solder burnt marks there. And I'm one to know. But yeah, I can tell because like this is not factory. I'm pretty sure somebody swapped these pickups out and they were like trying to resell it and they put the old ones back on. You have a lot of space, man, for modifications. Like add a little kill switch right here, add a bunch of stuff here. And for like EMGs, you know, you can put the bus there or in the battery here. You have a lot of space to work in here. You know, you have like this cool little contour back here for on the neck. It doesn't bevel or anything here, but you have this over here. You have your little belly cut over here. And overall, you know, this guitar is great. You know, it's really good. It's light. It's really light. I don't know how much it weighs, but it's pretty light, even with the Floyd Rose on it, the maple neck. But look how thin that neck is, dude. Like, these necks are so good. Like, oh man, they're so good. You got Jackson tuners, Jackson branded tuners. That's something you probably might want to upgrade down the road too, because these things over time they get a little bit wonky on you. So these kind of guitars, man, these guitars are really good to modify. You buy yourself a good set of pickups and a good Floyd Rose, this guitar is gonna be amazing. I'm telling you guys right now, amazing. Now I know you guys are gonna say, well, you know, what's the point? You know, what's the point of doing that if you're gonna spend what, $200 and then another $200 or $300 or like whatever you guys put into this? You know, that's completely, you know, player's choice, because, you know, I specifically bought these guitars to modify. You know, I would always want to, you know, buy guitars so I can swap the pickups out or swap the Floyd Rose out. You know, just because I love tinkering with guitars, so I would always do that. You got all that space in here and you have just a bunch of stuff to work with. You know, if you like to work on guitars, if not, then you want to just buy this guitar just to like have and not worry about any of that stuff. You know, it's gonna happen, you know, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people do talk about that these trem systems, they're not the best, which they're not. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh man, you know, these trem systems, buy them because they're good, or you know, don't worry about them, because you are gonna have issues. You are gonna have issues. So that's something I personally say look out for, because, you know, it's bound to happen. It's bound to happen. So just be aware of it. These pickups, they're good for what they are. You know, you don't have to swap the pickups out at all. But if you're a person that's very specific in their tone, or, you know, also, you know, I'm not going to get into the whole, oh, pickups don't matter, it's just amplifier and pedals and all that stuff. But it's all subjective. So if you guys are into these kind of guitars, man, like, highly recommend them. Like I said again, just look out for this kind of stuff here, you know. That's all that's left, is to see what this thing sounds like, and I'm going to give you guys a really quick demo on it.